Hello and welcome to the Amy
And Kyle.
Adventures podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about all things marriage, mental health and movement, which for us is mainly cycling. Now, I know there's been a few complaints about Kyle being a lot quieter than me, and he does have a quieter voice than me. We've been trying to work it out, and I've just realised that basically we both have a microphone each, and I've literally just realised that the whole time I've been doing this podcast, the microphone's been set to my laptop, not the microphones we've got in our hand, and I sit next to the laptop.
So I was adamant last time we recorded the podcast. I was like, Amy, I was talking so loud. I was genuinely trying to almost shout down the microphone. And then when I listened to it back, I was like, no, that can't be right. It sounded like it was coming from the other side of the room.
So basically, the whole time I've been doing this podcast, we've both had a microphone each in our hand, and it's just been using my laptop.
Fantastic.
And Carl's been sat at the other side of the room from the laptop. So that explains why you couldn't really hear Carl very well. So hopefully this podcast, you can hear Carl loud and clear.
Hopefully.
So yeah, sorry about that. It was my fault. Anyway, since the last podcast, we've been to Italy for the Strade Bianche, which was honestly absolutely amazing. Like, it was so good. It was incredible. Basically, we just went for 3 nights. We got there late on Friday night. Saturday, we rode out and saw the pros, both the women and the men. And then Sunday, we did the sportive, didn't we?
Yes, and it was fantastic.
It was. Kyle got very, very overexcited when he saw Pogacar.
I did. Did you get a little bit excited as well?
Yeah, I did too, but not
Your voice, I've never heard you cheer so much in my life.
It was quite thrilling.
Yeah, it was. Very good. And also, I have my favourite riders anyway, so as soon as I saw them up close and personal, I was extremely excited.
Who were your favourite riders?
Well, obviously, I love Pogacar, as does everyone. But obviously, everyone knows that I love Tom Pidcock, and at the time we saw him, he was on the front. And then, to my surprise, Connor Swift was sat on Pogacar's wheel in 3rd place. So that gave me extra little boost.
But then we rode to the finish, and then Carl's heart broke a little bit because Pidcock was no longer on the front.
Maybe a smidgen.
Pidcock came second, but Pogacar went through first. And Kyle's little face, we were literally waiting because we had no clue what was happening in the race because we didn't have signal and we couldn't get the race live. So we were literally just rode to the finish, not having a clue what had happened. Didn't realise Pogacar had a crash, so that's why he was not in first when we saw him go past. And then Kyle was literally waiting, and all the crowd's like, come on, Pidcock, come round the corner first. And then Pogacar came round first, and Kyle's little face looked like he was going to cry.
Yeah. But then when it was explained to me that Pogacar had a crash and was leading anyway, then I thought, well, that's fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, it is a bit bad in cycling when someone has a crash and then someone else... I know it's how cycling works, but I always think, like, if someone's in a crash and someone else wins, it's never quite the same, is it?
From what I heard, and like you said, we couldn't watch a race while we were there. From what I heard, when Pidcock did take the lead, he eased off and sat up a bit to actually wait for Pogacar to get back on.
Oh, really?
That's what people told me.
Oh.
So, great sportsmanship.
Yeah, you respect him more for that, don't you?
Yeah.
And we also got to got to see the ladies. We got to see Demi Vollering up close and personal. She was leading on the front. Unfortunately, Kazia was in a crash and she crashed out. So
yeah, that
was
a
really
shame.
sad because I really wanted to see her because we met her before. Which is again doesn't feel real, but we met her last year, didn't we, in Ibiza? Yeah. She's really, really nice, and yeah, it was a shame. But she put something out on Instagram saying that like she's just really grateful that she's here and it wasn't too bad. So she's still walking and talking. That's the main thing. But it just makes it. Sorry, you go.
Well, I just said, and to be fair, that's professional bike racing. It happens. You can't expect to get around every race and never be involved in something. So yeah, it's just one of those things, I suppose. But it must be frustrating as a professional athlete. But
I know that's what I was thinking. It does make you realise, like, we cycled the sportive the next day, obviously, like, just enjoying it, taking our time. But it does make you think, like, they are just another level. Like, every time they set out in a race, they're putting their life at risk, basically. Like, for me, the sportive was enough for the crowds at the beginning. That was enough for me. I like the solo, endurance. Like, that's why I've done crit racing before, but I just hate the crowd. I constantly just think, I'm going to crash, and then if I crash and I might break my bike, for me it's just not worth it. Like, hats off to anyone that's brave enough to do that, but for me, the long distance endurance is what I love.
Although I think there's a part of me that obviously loves endurance riding, and that's what I like to do. There is a part of me that enjoys the racing a bit more than you.
Yes, and we witnessed that on the Strade Bianche, Kyle, because, right, let me just paint a little picture for you here, for the listeners. So I got invited to Strade Bianche by CAMS, which is a cycling accident management service. Basically, I was hit by a car last year, and I heard about this company, didn't realise they existed before. Use them. They basically just sort you out with like injury claim, your bike. It's completely for free. I thought they were a scam at first. And then from there, then I ended up becoming an ambassador for them because they were like, oh, you've got followers. Like, do you want to be an ambassador for us? I was like, oh, go on then. And they do like trips each year, like for the staff, because they're all really into cycling. And they do like a bit of like promo stuff while they're on the trips, normally like take photos and things. Anyway, so I got invited to this Strade Bianche and I thought that would be amazing to do, but I'm a bit nervous because I always get a bit nervous about like crowded events. And it was all just a load of men going, and I was like, I'll be riding on my own. So I was like, is it okay if Kyle comes? Because he does my photos for Instagram. And also he's on the YouTube. It'll be more of a laugh if he comes. I said, we'll pay for his flights and whatever. And they're like, yeah, bring him along. So I was like, yes, Kyle, you can come because then you can stay with me. Like, I won't be scared now because I won't be on my own. And like, not that I'm scared on my own, but it's just nice to have someone you know with you and it's just a bit less daunting. Anyway, so I said to Kyle, remember, Kyle, I got you on this trip. So, you know, you've got to stay with me. I'm not racing around. I'm taking my time. I don't want to crash because at the start there was so many people and we've been warned that it starts off on a long descent. And a lot of people take this Strade Bianche Sportive as a serious professional race. I mean, there was people on rollers at the start and warming up and all sorts, elbowing you out the way. I was like, plumbing.
In suits, keeping warm.
Yeah, there's people. Yeah, people in like skin suits, in these boiler suits to keep the muscles warm. I was like, this is literally a sportive. We're not in a pro race here. It's like we're in a pro blooming peloton. Anyway, so Kyle's like, yeah, I'm going to take it slow. I was like, look, I'm not bothered about how long it takes us. I want to stop, enjoy it, just take it all in. Stay out the ruckus, stay out the people trying to take it serious. He's like, yeah, that's fine, I'm going to stay with you. Soon as the blooming klaxon goes off, we all start surging forward. Straight off he goes. I can't even see where he's gone.
No.
I'm just getting, surrounded by all these like people trying to go as fast as they can, nearly whipping me off into the grass verge. Anyway, then I got back up to you, didn't I? I was like, Kyle, remember what I said?
In my defence, that was downhill, and I wasn't, for a fact I wasn't going flat out.
No, you weren't. To be fair, on the first
I was just
bit,
rolling quick.
Yeah, on the first bit you were good, and you do roll heavier than me down the hill.
Yeah, that's just basic science.
Yeah, like so at some points, my legs were spinning out because I'd only have one cassette on my, not cassette, one chainring on my gravel bike. I was on a gravel bike as well with 45 tyres on, whereas Kyle was on a road bike with 30s on. So obviously he's going to roll faster than me as well, less resistance. So I was like spinning out, I couldn't go any faster, and I just see Kyle freewheeling. I can't keep up with him. But then you did wait for me and everything like that, so that was really nice. But then, talking of Kyle liking, the racing and getting a bit competitive, at one point on the ride, on a road section, luckily not gravel, he just decided to, all of a sudden, whack up the watts and just pelted forward. He had this this chain of about 50 people.
To give it a better understanding, so what had happened was I was riding next to you, and
that was quite enjoyable.
There was obviously quite a few people behind us.
Yeah.
And I just got my head down. I got into a bit more of an aero position, and
I thought he was pigcock.
I was riding along. I wasn't taking it hard. All my stats suggest that I wasn't. And next thing, I'm going along this road and thinking, I'm actually going quite quick. Look behind me.
23 miles an hour.
Look behind me, and I think, oh, there she is, red jersey. Then, so I keep ploughing on, thinking, we're doing all right.
And at this point, I'm seeing him going into the distance with a load of red jerseys behind him. It's not me.
Next thing, I do turn around. Then I take a proper good look and realise there's about 25 riders behind me while I'm pulling away, realising that the person in the red jersey wasn't Amy. So then I swung out to actually have a look further down the line to see where Amy was.
I wasn't even on the line at this point.
She wasn't on the line, and all I saw, and then when I did see her, all I saw was her look at me and shake the head. I thought, oh. But then the people that were sat on my wheel pulled out with me and tried to stay on my wheel.
I know, they wouldn't let you stop, would they?
No, but that happened a few times throughout the day.
But then, because he'd known he'd left me, he stopped and got his camera out and pretended he'd gone ahead on purpose to film
No, but that was just an error.
No, you were just trying to get him a good box, but I wasn't happy, and I rode past the camera with a really mardy look on my face, shaking my head.
Sometimes she'll even say, don't film me.
I was like, don't even bother filming me. I was really angry at you.
Yeah.
Because it was a headwind as well. I was on my own struggling, and I was on these really thick gravel tyres pushing along just on my own thinking, I've got you invited to this trip so that you can come and stay with me, and you're blooming leaving me on my own.
I will say there was one tarmac hill, one road hill, that I went up and I noticed someone was trying to push me uphill, trying to beat me up the hill. He was trying to edge forward. So I thought, I'm not having that. So I did put a few watts out. I think I did like 804 watts going up this
Too
hill.
competitive. That's the
And I
problem.
thought, I did beat him to the top, but sometimes that competitive edge gets me a little bit.
But anyway, so when I caught him back up, I thought, right, there's this big climb coming up on the gravel.
Yeah.
I thought, right, well, if you're going to do that to me, time to activate the mountain goat mode. And I literally just went up. I didn't actually push that hard. I just went up the climb, and I thought, I'm not going to slow down for him on this one. Because on a few, like, your wheels were spinning, weren't they? Because you were on road tyres.
The trouble is, there was like 3 or 4 hills Amy got to the top of me first. And the steeper hills suit you clearly.
Yeah, so on this climb, I was like, right, I'm just going to go. I'm not going to wait for him. I'm just going to go
And
at
it
my
was
normal
steep.
pace. I'm going to go at my normal pace and go up, and I beat him by ages. And I was waiting at the top for ages for him. And then
In
he was
fact, no,
like,
you didn't even wait. You kept rolling.
well, I kept going to the top, right to the top, and then I just rolled and free-wheeled to wait till you got to me. And you were like, oh, I got boxed in. I was thinking, no, you
No, to be
blooming
fair, at
didn't.
the start I did get boxed.
And then but you didn't all the way up.
But not only was it a steep climb, Amy had the advantage in the terms of she had the 45 tyres on. I was on 30 tyres, and there was a few times, and you saw it on the camera yourself, where you just see my wheel nearly going.
Yeah, but I beat you up the climb.
You did beat me up, fair and
So-
square, like, you did beat me up.
So thanks for that. But anyway, we got to the end of the ride in one piece, still married, no divorce, thankfully. We did finish together. Well, at the end, there was a few climbs, and I said to Kyle, you go to the end now because you can film me coming through the finish line. I let him go off because I thought I know he was itching to get up this last steep climb into Sienna.
I had quite a lot of energy as well, so I was like,
Yeah.
let's go for it a bit.
But do you know what? I've just been really busy recently. And like, I've handed my notice in at my job, and my job's really busy at the minute, like handing over stuff to everyone. I think sometimes when you're mentally tired, it makes you more physically tired. But it wasn't like, I mean, we averaged a really good speed actually, and I wasn't shattered by the end. But I know that you just had a bit more energy than me, so I let you go, and that was good, and it all worked out well in the end.
The plan was good. We did in the end take it easy.
Yeah, it wasn't like I was dying the whole ride. There was just a few moments where I thought, Kyle, rein it in, otherwise you're not going to be in the good books. But at the end of the ride, we realised why I was a lot more tired than you, because I averaged about 15 watts higher than you.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind I'm a lot lighter than you, I was working a lot harder because most of the time I was off the back. Every time there was a road bit, I was just like pushing on my own because I just couldn't hold your wheel very well. But it's okay. You've got stronger, and I have to accept that. You've got the extra added bonus of testosterone.
I've got better at climbing as well, which...
Yeah.
But it would be interesting at some point to do one of these sportives and see
on your own.
how I could go full gas.
Yeah.
And see how I get on.
Yeah, because I do hold you back, but that's, I'm a woman. I'm not going to be
No,
as
but the
strong as
plan
you.
wasn't for us to race
No.
that. We wanted to do it together anyway.
No, maybe if I was on my road tyres, I would have been a little bit quicker. But
Yeah, I did debate this a bit afterwards, and I was thinking, well, if I wasn't on the road tyres, then I might have rolled slow on the tarmac.
Yeah.
But then a lot of the time, and you saw yourself on the climbs, I was losing a lot of grip.
Yeah.
Even staying seated, like there was some really steep hills, and you're in your easiest gear and you're pushing. And I don't climb seated most of the time anyway. And there was one person that went down in front of me, wasn't there, because some of the gravel was quite loose.
Yeah, luckily we didn't get in any crashes, although one person on our trip did crash into a verge or something. But
Went straight
they were
over into a
okay.
field, I think.
They went over into a field, but they were still walking and talking, and they still managed to finish the ride, so they're okay. We did see a lot of people with punctures, but luckily we didn't get any of them either, so we were happy about that. But anyway, it was a really good trip until the next day. So we literally just had 2 days. The next day we got picked up at 7:30 a.m. for our flight. And this is the first time it's ever happened to me. You always worry about, imagine if you miss your flight, imagine if there's a car crash on the way. That happened to us. We were meant to be flying home from Pisa, set off, then standstill. There's 12 of us with 12 bike boxes, all trying to go on the same flight back to Manchester. Just at a standstill for like 3 hours on this Italian motorway.
Yeah, stop still.
The flight been and gone. Like, we missed the flight. So then we were all frantically trying to search for flights. There was no other flights. Like, especially trying to get 12 people with 12 bike boxes. So then it turned out we could find a flight from a different airport from Venice. So we had to spend 8.5 hours on a coach. And it was just like, but then we did get home in the end, thankfully. But it was just not the best ending to the trip. But then I always just think to myself, when you're in those situations, that nothing you can do about it. It's not like anyone's died, and
And also,
it's not the end of the world.
point I was making,
Chester's
like,
here now. Hello,
people
Chester.
can get quite frustrated in that situation. I was thinking, at the end of the day, someone's been in a serious car accident.
Yeah.
Us missing a flight is the least of anyone's problems.
Exactly.
Like, we will get home eventually.
You enjoyed it because you got to stop at all the autobahn things in Italy and get all the snacks.
Yeah, and we had a couple of really funny chaps on our coach.
Yeah.
That just made us laugh the whole trip.
They were hilarious. One of them, they were called Phil
and
Phil
Simo.
and Simo. One of them, Simo, he literally went in the services, and I'm not joking, it was like on a school trip. He bought like 4 packs of Italian ham, 4 packs of cheese, M&Ms,
Come out with loads.
like sandwiches, it's chocolate bars, crisps, all sorts, like passing them around the bus. Carl, you were in your element, weren't you? It was great.
It was great, yeah.
It was like being on a school trip again. It was like being back at Guides or something.
Those two were like a double act.
They were
Like, they
hilarious.
bounced off each other so well, and it just had you laughing the whole time.
And then before we came home at the airport, they bought like a full spread at the airport of all sorts of food. We're all sharing it. It was absolutely great.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it was a really, really good weekend. And again, like, it just feels like, I keep thinking back to like when I started my YouTube and my Instagram. It's like, how the hell has this happened to us? Like, literally, like the other day, I was literally in touching distance of Pogacar. If I put my hand out, I would have touched him. Like, then my wheels rolled on the same stone as Demi Vollering. I mean, what on earth is going on? But we always come back to reality with Chesty Bow. I always do feel a bit guilty about leaving Chester at home, but not at home on his own, obviously. Blooming at the RSPCA, he'll be around.
No.
At your grandma and granddad's, but he does have a good time.
And they
there.
like having him as well.
And
so.
also, all the trips we do, they are short. Like, it's only a few days, but apart
It
from
always seems
France,
more than it is because obviously they're usually short breaks.
But it's only a few nights,
But
so he likes that.
No, like you said, it's one of those moments where you sort of pinch yourself, and it's an iconic race. Like, it's one that since I started cycling, it's one that I've always enjoyed watching.
Yeah.
So to be there and actually see it live, it was just one of those pinch me moments, and I'd definitely recommend Strade Bianche to anyone.
Yeah, if you can get there, do it. It's really good.
If you can get there, do it.
It's
Definitely
really
watch it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on to the argument of the week, the tiff of the week. I think, to be fair, we didn't actually argue on the Strade Bianche, but when you left me, I was pretty
one moment where I knew I was in the bad books.
angry. I was riding along, shaking my head, thinking, what the hell is he? I was like, and you know when you're in your head and you're really like, what is he doing? Well, he's leaving me on my own. I was getting really angry. I was like, I invited him on this trip and now he's just leaving me, and I was getting really annoyed at him. But then I kind of, as soon as like we got back together riding again, I was fine. It's just like in those moments.
And it does sound worse, but I didn't actually leave you that many times.
No, there was like but there was a solid 5 miles when I was on my own. And I've got Chris from Cams as my witness because he came past and he was like, go on my wheel, Amy, you're all right, go on my wheel. I was like, yeah, thank you. And then I couldn't get on his wheel because there was about 50 other people behind him and no one would let me in.
Because I had a lot of energy, I did get a bit excited, and that was the 5 mile stretch you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it was into a headwind as well.
But yeah, I'm trying to think if we had any arguments before we went to Italy last week. I don't know if we did.
I don't think we did.
I mean, you've still been leaving cheese on the worktops.
I've been quite...
This morning, actually, there was cheese. This is the thing with you and cheese. I don't know how you get it everywhere. You grate it, it goes off your plate onto the table.
We had this last podcast.
This morning, there was cheese, like, solidified in the bottom of the sink. Because you've obviously, like, just rinsed the grater straight into the sink and just left it. There's loads of lumps of cheese.
When she says loads of lumps, I scrubbed it out this morning. It was about 7.
Yeah, well, that's 7 too many.
Small pieces.
7 too many in my book.
I sorted it.
Yeah, and the only other gripe I've got with you this week is that you've still not unpacked your case from Italy.
I'm actually currently looking at my bike box.
Yeah, your bike's not been unpacked. We've been home 3 days. Have you even checked?
2 days.
Kyle, have you even checked that it's, not been damaged on the... Go on, open it now.
I've got full faith.
Open it, go on.
In Jet 2.
Go on, open it. Let's see.
Let's have a look.
If it's not in one piece now, you're going to cry.
I sounded like an old man getting up then.
He's unzipping.
You can hung
This
it.
is always stressful, this is.
This
What would you do if you open it?
This could be ASMR for some people, the sound of the zip opening.
Jeez, it's always... I hate opening a
moment
bike
of
box.
truth.
You should always actually open your bike box at the airport, because if you don't and it is damaged, then you can't claim back off the airline, apparently. Is it looking okay?
It's still got white dust on it, but...
Oh, yeah, also, at the end of Strada, I washed my bike.
My bike is in one piece.
Yay, I washed my bike in the bath at the hotel, because I was like, it's got dust all over it.
That's another reason why I haven't put my bike back together yet.
Because you've got to clean it.
When I say put back together, I've only got to put the handlebars and the wheels on, but...
My bike is really clean. I've fully cleaned it at the hotel. Cassette's shiny. You've got a dusty bike you've got to clean, so... And I did say to you at the hotel, why don't you just do what I'm doing now? You were like, no, I'll do it when I get home. Are you regretting it now?
Yeah, well, we wanted to go out for tea and stuff, didn't we? And...
Yeah, but you did have time. You just wanted to lounge around on the bed.
Yeah.
Said you were full of energy. Clearly not. I still had the
No,
energy
it
to
was.
wash my bike. You didn't.
No, I packed. My bike takes a lot longer to pack away, doesn't it?
Yeah, to
In
be fair.
fairness.
Yeah.
So you had more time packing your bike away because it was easier to do.
Yeah. Anyway, should we move on to the moan of the week, the moan minute? So every week we have a minute each to moan about whatever the hell we want to moan about, because us Brits love to have a little moan, and I think you always feel better after you've let your moan out. I know it's only a joke, we know there's a lot of bad things happening in the world, and we're very grateful for the life we have, but we're just having a little moan. So, Carly, you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to stop. Hey, Chester, blooming heck, it's pushing my phone out my hand. It's not your dinner time yet, mate. You've got another hour to wait, so I don't know why you're getting all hyper. It's coming up to me like it's dinner time. Wants a stroke. Right, anyway. Oh, apparently in America you can't say stroke. It's rude.
What?
When I learnt that, this is a random thought that's popped into my head. When I went to see my sister in America,
Yeah.
apparently if you say, can I stroke your dog, it's really wrong. It means like a sexual thing. So you have to say
Really?
pet. Yeah, seriously. Molly said when she moved out there, my sister, that she said, oh, can I stroke that or something? And everyone looked at her like, you can't say that. You have to say pet.
What? So you have to say, can I pet that dog?
Yeah, can I pet that dog? Yeah. Right, are you ready? I'm going to count you down. You've got 1 minute. Have you got a moan ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Mine, moan, is people when you're going through the passport control or like security and you're going through those biometric gates and there seems to be a clear queue of people and people just walk in front of you into the queue like ahead of you. Like, what are you doing? It's very clear there's a queue and people in front of you if you've gone through first and they just proceed to just walk in front of you and think that's okay for them to do that. No. Wait your turn. Go back there. What's the rush? Like, you're going to get through at some point. It's not going to make anything go any quicker. You still got to wait for the plane to take off. So don't push in front. Have a bit of patience. Decorum. That's all I've got to say on the matter, really.
Oh, you did 45 seconds today instead of a minute. I do agree with that.
I don't have a lot of moans, but I had to think of one. And there was one person and it really irritated me.
Yeah, I know who you mean. They walked straight in front, didn't they?
Yeah, like, it was one of those biometric gates where it sort of, there was no clear way to walk round, but there was clearly a queue. And
Yeah.
it was clearly the people that come through first, you all lined up. And he just didn't bother walking to the back and just walked straight into the queue.
What a rapscallion.
Yeah, so I wasn't too happy about that.
Right, my turn.
Have
We're
you
not going to
got a
extend.
timer?
We're not extending your moan minute this week, Carl, because last week you did do a really good moan about people that don't put their hand over their mouth.
Yeah.
But it went on for about 10 minutes afterwards, so I'm.
That's
cutting-
because you continued.
I know, because I was really into that moan. But right, it's my turn now. Are you
Yeah.
timing me or am I
You
timing
can
me?
time you.
Right, 3, 2, 1. Time for my moan. Right, my moan is littering. I've got 2 examples of this. First of all, on the Sportive, there was literally gel packets, like cereal bar packets all over the road. And I'm just thinking, just put it in your back pocket. Stop littering. There isn't litter pickers, cycling behind your bike, picking it up for you off the road. There's no excuse for it. It really, really annoys me. People just think, what right do they have just to eat their gel and chuck it? You don't see the pros doing that unless it's in a litter zone where they're allowed to, where people are picking it up. So it's really annoyed me that the Italian countryside was getting littered, and some poor fella, probably people that organise the Sportive, are going to go after, or felletta, woman, are going to go after that, after the Sportive, and have to pick all that up. Also, when I was driving down the road the other day, someone had decided just to empty a load of litter, clearly, onto the side of the grass verge. So literally the whole road, all along the grass, was littered with packets. I'm just thinking the poor little hedgehogs and mice and all the little animals that live in that verge are getting their habitats destroyed by lazy people. And that's my minute done.
Yeah, I like that.
Really
And
annoys
also,
me.
like, why is it so hard to just take your litter and put it in a bin?
I know, I was thinking to myself.
Why ruin the look of somewhere just because you can't be bothered? Or it's just, I don't know whether it's just laziness or no respect for anything.
Or entitlement, I don't know. But I just think if you're a cyclist, you've got back pockets. Put your litter in your back pocket. It doesn't take, it's not going to weigh you down that much. You've eaten the food, it's in your stomach.
I mean, when I got to the end of the ride, I had a banana peel in my side pocket with 2 empty gels.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't think to chuck them on the floor.
No, and
So-
people driving, if you're eating something in your car, get yourself a little bin in your car with a little bag in it, a little mini bin. You can put it in there. Or just put it on your knee, put it on the seat next to you, put it in the bin when you get home.
I have one of them for my van.
Really annoys me. And I was on my dog walk the other day with Chester, actually, and someone just put their window down and threw an apple core out onto the pavement. It nearly hit me.
In fairness,
Seriously. I mean, apple cores aren't as bad
Yeah.
because they do decompose. Into a grass verge, I've done that before. But not onto the pavement when people are walking. Literally,
unless they were just aiming for you.
I think they were, to be honest. Nearly got knocked out by an apple core.
It might have been me.
Probably was. Hope it was a crunchy one.
Yeah.
I love a crunchy apple. Anyway, that's our moan minute done. Yeah. Right, moving on then to mental health. Kyle, how have you been mentally this week, the last few weeks? One word to describe your mental state.
Zen. Zen is the word. I've been very, I don't know if you've noticed, I've been very cool, calm and collected recently. I've not really been, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've not really been stressed.
No, you have been really calm.
I've actually been probably the calmest I've been in quite a while, just, yeah.
I think you did get a little bit stressed about the flight being cancelled though.
I didn't.
Because you were, being quite vocal on the bus about what other flight
No,
we
as
should
in
get.
like deliberating. That wasn't stress. It was just like trying to work with people, try and get it resolved.
No, you have been really calm actually.
Yeah. So no, my mental state has been very good. It does help when I get to do things that I love doing.
Yeah.
But work, everything like that's been, just very chilled, very good. So what's one word to describe your mental state?
If I had to do one word, it'd probably be... I can't really think of a word that is a real word, but if I had to think of a word, it would be like fractured. Does that make sense?
Sounds very dramatic.
It is a bit dramatic. I feel like my head is just a bit, fractured. Like it can't focus on one thing properly at the minute. I feel like I've got loads of different things. I've got too many eggs in too many different baskets. That's not a good thing.
Not for much longer.
No, I feel like after this week, I'll be a lot more calm. But it's just been really busy. It's all been really good stuff. But when it's like, whoa, I've got too much going on. I can't focus on one thing at a time because I'm doing one thing thinking I've got to do the next thing. Or I've forgotten to do that thing that I should have done. And it's all just a bit like, ew. But it's all good stuff. Tomorrow I'm going down to near London because I'm hosting an event thing. I've got to interview 3 rowers. It's for International Women's Day. This really lovely lady is cycling every stage of the women's tour and she's fundraising for charity. And she asked me to go and be like the interviewer host. So it's basically like at a rowing club and there's 3 rowers that one's got an Olympic medal, one's rowed the Atlantic, one used to be like head of a rowing club and now she's a skin specialist, skin doctor. I could do with that actually because I've got acne in a bad way. Who specialises in sport. And I've got to go and interview these people in front of a load of people. I know nothing about rowing. So I spent the afternoon today writing out cue cards and learning all about them. So I'm hoping I'll be okay with that. But when I said yes to it, I was excited. And now I'm like, oh, God, why the hell did I agree to this? But it'll be a good experience. And I always think it's good to challenge yourself. So I know that once I've done it, I'll be proud of myself. But I've just got to go and do it. And sometimes I do say yes to too many things. And I am kind of thinking, I wish I'd said no. But I know that once I've been and done it, I'll be happy about it.
These things that you're doing now and stuff like that are things that are going to help you in the future.
Yeah.
And also, it's good to get yourself out of the comfort zone sometimes.
Yeah.
That's sort of what makes you who you are, like gets you used to doing different things.
Yeah, and it's for charity. Like, I don't mind. I'm always happy to do things for charity, so
and
it'll be good.
A good talker.
Yeah, but hopefully, we can get a cast on my mind, the fracture will heal, and my brain will be functioning like normal next week.
Yeah, I think as everyone knows now that you're stopping working just full time, social media, cycling and all that sort of stuff, I think that's going to make a massive impact.
Yeah, it's going to make a big difference. I'm really, it definitely feels like the right decision because it has just been really busy. Oh, and in other news, at the airport on Friday on the way, just got to share this little thing, I got an email from Strava asking me if I wanted a little verification tick because they've seen about my Tour de France ride that I'm doing and they're like excited about it and they want me to have a little verified tick. I was like, yes, I'll have a tick, but it doesn't feel real. Like I don't feel like I deserve it. That's what the pros blooming have. But I was like, I'll take the tick.
No, you do deserve it.
Give me a little boost along the way.
Can I just point out, like, you don't give yourself enough credit. You're a 2-time national medalist in the 24-hour time trial. You've done everything. You've done all these challenges. You've been back from Italy, all these sort of things. You're an athlete. And the tick isn't based on that, but I don't think you give yourself enough credit sometimes.
I know, I do feel
You
like,
do fully
you know, when
deserve
people
it.
say like imposter syndrome, and I always think, oh, it's just like a load of rubbish, that is. And like, oh, it makes me think like, oh, you just like, you know, complaining when you're in a really good place, just enjoy it, just enjoy yourself. But I actually get that like feeling, because whatever I get, I never feel like I deserve it. And I do enjoy it and I love it. And like this weekend at Strade Bianche, it's been amazing. Like it's all been so good and I love it while I'm there and I'm really enjoying it. It's not like I'm not loving it. But I do always have sometimes these moments in the day when I'm at home and stuff and I'm like, I don't deserve any of this. Like, why is this happening to me? And it annoys me because I'm like, I should just accept it and know that I have worked really hard and, you know, I can't feel like, but I just can't feel like, if I say I deserve it, it just doesn't feel right with me. Do you know what I mean? I just don't feel like I deserve it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I do these challenges. It's because I never feel good enough. Whatever I do, I never feel good enough.
Well, hopefully after Tour de France, this will make you feel like good
Yeah.
enough. Like you've.
I think it all stems from like, because obviously I trained for 4 years to be a mental health nurse. I've always wanted to help people. I've always just felt like a really like deep need to like help people that felt like me. I remember when I was in sixth form and I really struggled with my own mental health, and I went through some really bad times, like just really low, and put a lot of pressure on myself. Like if I didn't get A stars, it wasn't good enough, and I just used to spend hours in my bedroom just hating life and not really telling anyone about it. And I think I had a moment within that time where I was like, I wish there was someone I could speak to at school, and I want to be a nurse, a mental health nurse, so that no one has to feel like me now. And if they do, they've got someone like me to talk to. And I went into it with that kind of idea. And then obviously I was a nurse for 3 years and then I couldn't cope. And I think I always have a bit of guilt around that, the fact that I've not used my degree, and that I don't know, it just makes me feel like a failure. And I still feel that quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I still feel, because I'm very like pressurized on myself. So in my head, I'm like doing social media and like YouTube and Instagram, it's not a proper job. So I always have this thing of like, I need to do more. I need to make sure I'm like, you know, helping people and raising money for as much money for charity as I can. And I really want to make a difference for people. And I feel like sometimes I know that I am making a difference, because I do get messages from people that saying like, your mental health tips every morning help me, because I do them on my Instagram. And I know that I am making a little difference, but I sometimes do get that feeling of it's not a proper job. But then on the flip side, I know how much hours I put into it and how much stuff I do. And like, although it's really, really fun, I think that's the thing. It's like, I can't allow myself to be like, this is my job, because it's so fun. And like, I just feel like I don't deserve it. And I feel like there's so many people like doctors, and obviously I don't get anywhere near as much money as a doctor, but there's so many people with like really hard-working jobs that don't get to
Yeah, but it is
do the things I
the
get to
thing
do, and
I
I feel
always have
bad
to try
about
and
it.
convince you about is it's still a really hard working job. And whether you enjoy your job or not, it's still hard work. You still do a lot of work for what you
Yeah,
do.
do a lot of
Just because you're
hours.
enjoying it doesn't. That's like saying someone might really enjoy being a doctor, or someone might really enjoy doing what they do. Like,
Yeah,
does that mean they're not working hard? People are still working hard, but you can still enjoy your job.
yeah,
So, loads of people have really fun jobs, but it's still hard work. You put in a lot of hours, and it took a bit of convincing with you, like, to actually realise that you can't keep working and doing this at the same time. But you're fully deserving of it. You have made a difference. People, you know, you've made a difference. We both raised money from Italy. You've raised money through Everesting
yeah.
and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and that's why like my Tour de France challenge, I'm literally doing it in 4 months' time, 6,300 kilometres in 30 days, riding every stage of the Tour de France, plus riding the transfers in between. It's going to be mega hard, and I keep doubting myself whether I can do it, but in my head I'm like, I want to, because I want to prove that I can, and I want to raise as much money as possible for this. I'm doing it for Shout, which is like a 24-hour text service for people with mental health problems, because I just want to prove that, like, no matter how low you've been in life, because I've been at a point where I didn't want to be here, like, you can keep going and things can get better. And I hope that just doing that, if I can help one person not to give up on life, then that's my mission accomplished. And that's why I have to remind myself on the days where I feel like I'm not good enough, or I've not got a proper job, or, you know. Anyway, I'm waffling on, but didn't expect all that to come out. But I think it's just, I just want to give the message that we are our own biggest critics, and we need to remember to be kinder to ourselves, and be kind to each other as well, because we never know what's going on inside. Like, someone can seem like the happiest person ever, but then at home they're like the saddest person in the world. So yeah, just be nice to everyone and be nice to yourself. Respect. Yeah, because you never know what's going on inside. But yeah, although my mental state at the minute is a bit fractured, I am happy. Like, generally I do feel happy, and I feel just, content, but just I'm in a bit of a whirlwind stage. Yeah, just busy. But I'm so grateful for everything that's come my way, and yeah, I really do think I'll always remember why I started doing this, and I'm never going to forget that, no matter where this channel goes and what happens.
Not only that, I think
I'm happy if it just stays like this. Well. Yeah, if it stays like this, that's good for me. I'm not like bothered how much it grows or whatever. I just want to make a difference to one person. So. And
the nicest comment I can ever see, like when people comment on YouTube and stuff, is you two are just real. And
well, I hope we are. I'm not an oil painting.
And as in, like, we're not faking anything. We're not trying to make it something it's not, or like we're just riding our bikes and enjoying it and letting you lot see it.
And I just say whatever comes into my head, to be honest.
Yeah, we both do. Like, and that's why people see when I'm grumpy sometimes.
That's why this podcast probably has no structure to it, apart from the moan minute and the argument of the week. We just kind of sit down and have a chat. But Chester's stretching now, and now I've got to go on Ruby and do a midweek mood up ride, so I'm going to go and do that. I've had intervals today as well, so I'm a bit nicky-nacky noonard, but I've been eating a lot, so I've been eating more on my rides, and that's going well. Training the old stomach to tolerate more food, so yeah, things are looking good. But we'll talk more about I think we'll talk more about food and how we're fueling rides in the next episode, because it's something I've been working on. And yeah, we'll leave you on the note of be kind to yourself. Do one nice thing for yourself this week. Buy yourself a bunch of flowers, or have fresh bed sheets one night, even if you don't need them. Have a bath.
Anything.
Light a candle. Relax. Take 10 deep breaths. Just anything to give yourself a little moment in the day. Be nice to yourself. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. We're going to say TT to the FN. Ta-ta for now. Goodbye.
Arrivederci.